Hey guys, 30 years ago today, the David Fincher film Seven premiered in the US. Originally, it was panned and criticized for its nihilistic tone and the ending, which I find extremely ironic how that's how those are the two things that are criticized or that were criticized, and now I personally consider them to be the two best things about the film. Or at least those are the two most acclaimed aspects of Seven. It's one of my all-time favorite films, Seven. And there are scenes in the film that I think about daily. I, I'm not even joking. There are scenes in this film that I think about every day. And it inspires me to want to make movies. It inspires me to want to study film and acting. It's up there with Jaws and Reservoir Dogs, and those two films, mind you, are like the top films that make my passion what it is. I love movies, and Seven is a reflection of that. It really is. Um, the pacing in Seven makes it truly special. Now, in most detective thrillers or detective films, they'll have a mystery to it, and it'll keep you engaged from said mystery. Maybe it'll have a few engaging characters, but Seven doesn't just introduce an incredible mystery, an incredibly dark, vicious, violent mystery. It also includes two characters that you genuinely care about, that you come to care about more and more throughout the film. Um, the most unentertaining or the least entertaining scenes in Seven are still riveting to me because of Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt's performances. Morgan Freeman being Somerset and Brad Pitt being Mills. Now, one great thing about them, and this is a small detail, is their outfit choice. Their contrast. Now, their contrast is a bigger deal than the outfit because their outfit is part of the contrast, but just the contrast in general between these two characters is outstanding to me because it's a reference to Sherlock Holmes and Watson, or at least it is to me. Mills is the more vicious, bold, and ambitious detective who's new in town, and Somerset is the more hardened, experienced, and cynical detective who's days away from retiring. Coincidentally enough, 7 days away, which is the amount of days it's going to take to solve this mystery that they're tackling. The relationship between these two characters is just outstanding, as I said, and it really makes the film special because it's not just a mystery, it's a character piece, it's a character study, or rather, a character relationship study. My favorite scene in the film, every time I watch it, this scene glows brighter and brighter, is the apathy scene when Mills and Somerset are sitting at the bar and they're talking about what their opinions are on the state of society. Somerset, the cynical one, he's wise, but he's cynical. So he says people can't be redeemed, or at least that's how he views it. He doesn't think people can be redeemed. He thinks that the society they live in is all fucked up. But Mills, he's more optimistic. Sure, throughout the film you see him having a temper issue, and he's not exactly the calmest and most patient character in the film, especially out of the two. But he has an optimistic view on the society that he lives in. Sure, it's raining all the time, it's grimy, it's dirty, there's a bunch of shitty people every corner they take, but he thinks that people should be cared for. And he's not going to agree with Morgan Freeman's character just because he's the more experienced one in a literary sense and because of a hardened sense, that he's been a detective for longer. He's not going to agree with him just because of that. And not only does it make the ending of the film extremely ironic, it says a lot about his character and how he's grown and how special the emotion and relationships are in this film, or specifically this one relationship. It's truly special when a filmmaker can tap into something really special like this. Now, I will get into discussing the ending of Seven, which I assume most of you will know. Not only because I assume most of you have seen it, but because it's just iconic at this point. It has millions of views on YouTube. But I will say to you now, if you haven't seen Seven, please go watch it all the way through. It's worth it for the ending alone. I know I said that in my last review for I Saw the Devil, but trust me, Seven has one of the best endings to any film I have ever seen. That's a promise. Nothing comes close. I mean, there are a few films that come close, and there are a few films that rival it, but some days I am convinced that the ending and climax of Seven, even the entire third act, is just perfect and outmatched. So, there are plenty of good climaxes in film. Or you got, as I said, Jaws and Reservoir Dogs. The climaxes in those films are incredible. Django Unchained, another Tarantino film, has an incredible climax. But Seven's is truly incredible, and that's because everything works. Everything works. Morgan Freeman works as this force of desperation. Brad Pitt works as this force of wrath. And Kevin Spacey works as this force of envy. I mean, two of the characters encapsulate two of the seven deadly sins, but Morgan Freeman's involvement isn't useless. He's there, he's trying to stop Mills from committing an act that he'll regret for the rest of his life. And that'll make international news. But it proves that John Doe as a character is so fucked up in the head that he knows what he's going to do, and he's only met the man once. It's truly chilling stuff the more you dissect it, and it's one of those endings that I have seen over and over again. I haven't seen the film a dozen times, but I've seen the ending tens of dozens of times because I've analysed the shit out of it. The lighting puts the focus on John Doe, and it's one of the only scenes in the film that's so bright. The shaky camera represents all the anxiety and the dread, and the audience still might not know what the fuck is going on yet until it finally clicks for you, and it works. It just works, and the score is so chilling and so terrifying that it works alongside the camera and it works alongside the three performances. Everybody is interrupting each other too. That's probably my favorite part. All three of these characters are interrupting each other. It's not like a traditional film where one character will speak and the other will speak and you'll hear all their point of views really clearly. No, these characters are speaking over each other. They're yelling over each other. And it feels like you're stuck in the middle of a serious conflict. I know it's fiction, but the first time I saw Seven, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and it still does. But seriously, it's difficult to put into words properly and fully just how awe-inspiring the ending is. and for all the wrong reasons. This movie inspires me not because it's a bright, happy, inspiring film. It's not traditionally an inspiring film. It's so bleak and so hopeless that it works. It works because of how dark and horrible it is. The ending is just amazing because of how horrible it is and because you can sympathize with Mills's decision, even though he lets the villain win. The villain wins by dying. Now, I know that happens in a bunch of other films, but not to the same emotional devastation as Seven. Now, the ending, if you haven't seen the film yet, and you're still watching because you don't care, or you've already seen it, it sounds like I think the ending is the best part. And you know what? I think it is, generally. The third act, including the apathy scene in the bar, is probably the best whole segment of the film altogether, right? And I think that's the general consensus too. I know it sounds like that, but every time I watch it, there's more details about the middle and the beginning that just stick out to me as well. When Mills and Somerset are in the prosthetic shop where they find the knife for the lust victim, you can see a man with a limp coming up to the door of the shop after the shopkeeper explains that the killer, has a limp. It's little details like that that just add up over time, add up with every rewatch, and the details, those little details aren't everything, but the middle and the beginning of the film include so much character development, so much mystery, so much information, so much dread, so much foreshadowing. I could go on, I really could. You really feel like you're going in a descent with these two detectives. You feel like every single sin is getting worse and you don't know which one is going to pique your horror. You don't know which one's going to be the worst because they keep getting awful, more and more awful. And that's debatable, but I think that the film understands that minimalism is key. There is a scene in Seven, specifically the lust interrogation scene, which is also in the running for one of my favourite scenes in the film, where you see a photograph and it tells you everything you need to know about the scene. It tells you everything you need to know about the crime, it tells you everything you need to know about the victim, or the victims actually. And it's the best possible decision they could have made. It kept the film in theaters, and it kept the audience traumatized. It's one of those movies. It's one of those movies that you just have to see. It's one of those movies that you should study and watch over and over and over and over again. I love Seven. Every time I feel uninspired, every time I feel like I'm losing the love for film, I watch a few scenes from Seven or I rewatch the whole film. And it feels like I'm back to square one with my excitement and my joy for loving movies. Go see Seven if you haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it in a while, I would recommend it because it's 30 years old today. At least the premiere was. The original premiere was 30 years ago today. I'd recommend it. If you couldn't already guess, I'm going to give it 5 stars. 5 out of 5. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys.